Several crashes over the weekend, including one that resulted in serious injuries. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Thunder Bay OPP were dealing with a number of collisions on area highways this past weekend.
Many of them involved transport trucks, including a head-on crash along Highway 102 that left 2 people with serious injuries. It happened at around 12:30 Saturday afternoon near Town Line Road. Police fully closed the highway between Sistinen's Corner and Maple Ward Road. OPP confirmed today that the 2 occupants of the SUV remain in hospital, including 1 person with life-threatening injuries. The highway reopened at 8 o'clock Saturday night, but then just a few hours later, a transport lost control on a different section of Highway 102. The crash knocked out TBT service for hundreds of phone, internet, TV, and mobility customers in the area. Gorman Ware School also had to close today. The transport was removed this afternoon, and TBT officials say services were fully restored just before 6 o'clock this evening.
Thunder Bay Police have arrested 4 people after a standoff in the North End on Friday night. Officers responded to reports of an assault on Balsam Street just before 11 o'clock. A female on scene said she'd been assaulted and that one of the suspects may have a gun. That turned out to be an imitation firearm, but the standoff lasted more than 5 hours. A 28-year-old man faces several assault and weapons charges, while 3 others were charged with assault.
A 38-year-old impaired driver faces a long list of charges for pointing a replica gun at a police officer after getting their vehicle stuck in a snowbank. It happened around 1:30 a.m. at the intersection Egan and Lays Street. The officer found the vehicle running with its vehicle wheels still spinning and the driver unresponsive behind the wheel. When the suspect was awoken, they attempted to drive away before assaulting and pointing the gun at the police officer. The officer disarmed the accused, who then tried unsuccessfully to flee on foot. It was only later the police realized the gun was fake. The suspect faced 12 charges, including impaired driving, carrying a concealed weapon, assaulting an officer, and drug offenses.
The mayor's annual State of the City address has been pushed off to next week. Mayor Ken Boshkoff was supposed to deliver the address at tonight's City Council meeting.
The big agenda item now is a discussion about the city potentially joining the province's red light camera program. Vasilios Bellos reports.
City Council is back after its holiday break for the first meeting of the new year. The item that many community members had their eyes on was the annual State of the City address.
Well, we know the mining is real.
That was supposed to be presented by Mayor Ken Boshkoff, but has been pushed off to next week, giving city staff needed extra time. Boshkoff says the address will highlight the incoming mining boom, stressing creating housing in 2024 will be crucial to ensuring incoming workers and their families have a place to live.
People are setting up offices here. People are moving here. We want the families of these people to move here so that they could go to our school and help build our city. So we do have focus, and that's my intent, to make us to let everybody know what a good place it is to live.
Thunder Bay has applied for $46 million from the Federal Housing Accelerator Fund to build 2,200 new homes in the next 3 years, though there's still no timeline for a decision on those dollars. Also on Monday's agenda, a push to make running red lights more costly.
Driving habits have not really improved. This is a method that will hopefully mitigate some of that.
Red River Councillor Michael Zucino is asking the city to reconsider joining the province's red light camera program. It would see several intersections in the city have cameras, which would automatically capture images of drivers running red lights and mailing them a ticket.
That in 2021, the council had an opportunity to install red light cameras, and they chose not to. Since then, there's a new 5 people on council, so maybe their views have changed, or maybe there'll be a different vote. I think driving habits in our city have not improved over that time.
Says he's hoping for 10 intersections throughout the city to have the cameras set up. If council backs Zucino's proposal, administration will put together a report with the potential costs, revenues, and timelines for the program. Vasilios Bellos, TBT News.
Thunder Bay firefighters were at the scene of a structural fire early this morning in the John Street Road area. 4 pumper trucks and a tanker truck responded to the call on Spencer Road at approximately 1 a.m. Once they arrived on scene, fire crews found a detached woodworking shop mostly consumed by the fire. Due to there not being any hydrants in the area, water was shuttled to the scene until the fire was extinguished. The building burned to the ground, but fortunately it wasn't occupied at the time. The cause of the fire is under investigation.
Synergy North has launched a public survey that'll shape the company's future environmental decisions. The Feedback on Sustainability survey recently opened up and is currently available to customers and stakeholders.
Preferences amongst very different areas. So, like I said, operational excellence, environmental, social issues like diversity, inclusion, things like that.
The survey includes a number of questions focusing on how important sustainability is for customers and other stakeholders. That includes the company's environmental impact and ethical practices. Consumer Care Vice President Andy Armitage says the survey is part of a larger effort to become more sustainable.
Part of a sustainability process we've started up in the last year or so, and we want to make sure that we have enough information going forward to make sure we're doing what we're expected to from our stakeholders.
The survey runs until February 9th. The data collected will be used to build a sustainability report expected to be released next year.
Japanese media is reporting that Honda could invest more than $18 billion in an electric vehicle plant in Canada.
Honda is reportedly looking at several sites, including near its existing plant in Alliston, Ontario. CTV's Siobhan Morris explains.
This sprawling Honda property in Alliston employs more than 4,000 people. Now word the auto giant may be eyeing this area south of Barrie for electric vehicle and battery plants, a prospect the mayor is thrilled about.
It'll bring a tremendous amount of jobs, spin-off businesses, great economic growth.
Nikkei Asia reports Alliston is under consideration as Honda looks to catch up on the EV market in Canada. The company's investment could pass $18 billion.
We would like to have you here. We want you here. We'll work with you to do what we can to make sure that everything goes as smooth as possible.
An EV battery plant for Honda would be part of a growing list in Ontario. A Stellantis-LG partnership in Windsor is due to open this year. A Volkswagen facility in St. Thomas expected to come online in 2027. But Honda's plans are on a different scale.
2.5 times the size of the Volkswagen one and 3.5 times the size of the Stellantis one.
This auto industry player sees logic in expanding in Alliston, where Honda is already well connected.
Sources of labor, suppliers, and they know that the infrastructure is going to be built into the area for the critical minerals that we need to put into batteries.
Provincial and federal governments won't say what proposals they've seen. Canada's Minister of Science and Innovation writes in part, reports about Honda looking to make a significant investment in Canada speaks to the quality of workforce and the strength of our industry. As for whether Canada and Ontario will pitch in, François-Philippe Champagne says, as with Stellantis and Volkswagen, we'll evaluate the project proposal in due time and act in the best interest of Canadians, as well as the long term of these generational investments. Canada and Ontario have already promised over $28 billion in subsidies and tax breaks for battery plants. They're linked to output. But Honda could ask for construction cash, a more traditional funding model.
The return on investment on those has been as short as 2 or 3 years.
Mayor Norcross thinks it's a worthwhile investment.
All levels of government need to participate. We're competing in a global economy.
A Honda spokesperson says they have nothing to announce right now, that they're focused on building an EV hub in Ohio for late next year. But Nikkei reports the company wants Canadian EV facilities good to go by 2028. Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
The Thunder Bay Museum Society held its annual President's Reception yesterday. The event was a chance for the museum's board of directors to recognize the volunteers that help keep the museum going. Museum Society President Michelle Beaulieu presented awards recognizing volunteers who'd put in 100 or 500 hours of volunteering since the museum began formally tracking volunteer hours in 2021. He also handed out a President's Award and Volunteer of the Year Award to 2 people who went above and beyond.
The lifeblood of the museum is its volunteers. Since 2021, they've contributed thousands of hours to the ongoing activities of the Society. That ranges from what we do for kids programming, to setup, to behind the scenes things that aren't quite that exciting. The work they do in bingos, which raises money for the Society.
Oh, it's awesome. It's the museum does such good work, and it's really rewarding to be part of the museum and helping them in any way I can. So it's really nice today.
Beaulieu says he doesn't want to think about how the museum would get along without volunteers like Willis. He says volunteers are integral to every aspect of what they do at the museum.
A local elementary school teacher is creating a book series aimed at helping kids dealing with social and emotional issues. Dave Mossman, along with co-author Brian Nolet, and the Jungle Buddies are hoping to help kids all around the world understand and manage their emotions and enhance their social skills. The first book, called Jungle Buddies, A Race to Remember, is out now. It focuses on Scooter the Sloth and his feelings of anxiety about an upcoming race, and how the rest of the Jungle Buddies help him get through it. A Race to Remember is the first of 5 books which Mossman and Nolet hope to release this year. Each book will focus on a different buddy going through a different emotion. Mossman says children deserve to grow up with the tools and knowledge to navigate the ups and downs of life.
Well, I'm a teacher, and I see a lot of kids in our school deal with different kinds of emotions, whether it be feeling sad, angry, feeling left out. So Brian and I really wanted to focus our books on teaching kids how to deal with these emotions. We just find it's really important that, parents, teachers, social workers out there have a resource that they can use to help kids through these emotions, through these feelings.
Jungle Buddies, A Race to Remember is available on Amazon.
Winter Fun Days have returned for the 2024 season.
The winter-long event series kicked off yesterday at Prince Arthur's Landing. Lee Noonan was there.
Sundays are Winter Fun Days in the city from now until March 17th, with events designed to get the whole family out into the community and experiencing the joys of winter.
So we have a winter party happening outside on the skating rink in February. We have KHEP here for, I believe, 7 of the Winter Fun Days. So there's all kinds of different activities. They're doing scratch art, they're doing snowflake making. And then we have some programming happening out more in the community. So we have a snowshoeing day happening at Chapels. We have a St. Patty's Day party happening in Minnesota Park. So all kinds of little fun activities to do every Sunday.
Many of the events are aimed at getting families bundled up and enjoying the outdoors, but for those who prefer to stay warm, there are also lots of indoor activities on the calendar.
Today we're here with KHEP, so they're here making some welcome cards for the athletes that are coming for the Ontario Winter Games coming up.
We spoke with some of the kids at the card-making event, and they all agreed it was a good time, and they hope to be back for more events over the winter.
I tried the 5-pin bowling.
And what do you think? Is this a good activity?
Yes. Yeah, I would like to go to all of them. It's always good to try new things.
Winter Fun Days are hosted by the city. They're happening on Sundays between 2 and 4 every week, and there is never a cost to participate.
The goal of Winter Fun Days is for everyone in the community to get to enjoy the beautiful outdoors that we have in Thunder Bay and get to know some of the community organizations that work within it. Families of all ages and sizes, come on down.
Most of the activities are taking place here at the Marina or the Baggage Arts Building. For the details on every activity, you can go to the city's website. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
After a slow start to the winter season, a good amount of snow finally made its way to Thunder Bay this weekend.
It's great news for local cross-country skiing facilities, as Camview Nordic Centre and Lappy Ski Centre have finally been able to open up for the season. Mitchell Ringos reports.
This is what Camview Nordic Centre looked like just 2 weeks ago, as the warmer weather kept cross-country skiers waiting for a chance to hit the trails. But their wish was finally answered, as the recent snowfall has done wonders for Camview, allowing them to finally open after what General Manager Dave Suddy says was the latest start they've ever seen.
I don't ever remember Christmas where we haven't had, at least some skiing going on here at Camview, but it's certainly welcome to see some snow for now, that's for sure.
Suddy says the recent snowfall gave them about 4 centimeters of packed snow, which was enough for 4 kilometers of trails to be fully ready for opening day. Suddy did say they need around 10 more centimeters of snow to open up other trails, but as for now, he is just happy to be back open.
I know people that are really chomping at the bit to get out here, so I think people are pretty excited to get out and ski on, the little bit of skiing that we got going right now. And just as the, weather gets better and we get more snow, we should get more trails open.
And Suddy wasn't the only one excited about the opening, as we talked to a few local skiers fresh off the trails who were all thrilled to finally be back out at Camview.
Oh, fantastic today.
And what is the main thing you're looking forward to here at Nordic Ski Trails?
Just to stay upright.
I'm very happy. I've been usually skiing a month and a half already. This year is way, way late.
Well, it was nice that we got some extra hiking and that during the season, but really missed the skiing. This is probably the latest I've ever started skiing in my life.
Camview isn't open for full hours just yet, however. The study says there isn't enough snow out just yet for night skiing, but he is hoping that more snow in the next few weeks can change that. Meanwhile, Lappy Ski Center is also open for local skiers, as they currently have about 1/3 of their 15 kilometers of trails ready to go. Mitchell Ringos, TBT News.
Yeah, all the snow that we got certainly is good news for some. I was really trying to remember that, Fiona, as I was shoveling my driveway over the weekend. I was really trying hard to remember that this is good news. It's January. We're supposed to have snow, and I understand there could be more on the way.
Yes, skiers are going to be happy to hear that Mother Nature's not quite done with the snow just yet. Today we've had some light flurries this afternoon. It started out mostly cloudy. That was after an overnight low of -21, wind chills of -27, but winds have stayed very light from the southwest, but ranging from 2 to 11 kilometers per hour. So our daytime high was a very seasonal -9, and wind chills only making it feel marginally cooler than that. Now, if we take a look at what has been moving in, you can see there is some snow on the way to the south of us. There's some to the west of us. It is coming, but we're not going to be hit quite as hard as we did on the weekend. Now, at this hour, we've got a lot of cloud in Fort Frances. They started out the day with wind chills of around -25. They've warmed up to -11 and a wind chill of -17. A lot of cloud. The snow hasn't quite settled in yet, but Red Lake has had periods of snow off and on throughout the day. Their overnight lows were even cooler still. Wind chills hit -30 in the pre-dawn hours. At this time, they're hovering around -23 with those periods of snow. As we head eastward, you can see similar temperatures, although Armstrong quite a bit cooler at this hour at -21. But Greenstone actually had similar temperatures for most of the day, although it was under a whole lot of sunshine. It's still fairly clear at this time. They're currently at -18 and a wind chill of -22. Along the North Shore, we're in the low double digits. Sault Ste. Marie has had periods of light snow, but temperatures have been staying very steady between -2 and -3 for almost 12 hours or so. So not a lot of movement there. Here in the city of Thunder Bay tonight, we are going to drop down to a low of -6. Wind chills will feel closer to -14 to start as another 5 to 10 centimeters moves in. Here's where things get interesting, though. The temperatures are going to be fairly steady to start, and then they will rise by the pre-dawn hours, and that can make things kind of interesting because we are going to warm up a little bit, which is always good news when Ryan has to get out there with a shovel. I'll have more details on that later on in the news hour.
It's good news for some. The snow is good news for some. I keep telling myself that. Thanks a lot, Fiona. Well, we turn our attention now to international news and a terrifying situation in the skies over the U.S. Over the weekend, that Air Alaska flight had its door blow off in mid-air. There are plenty of questions now, as you can imagine. We'll have that and more right after the break.
I woke up to the plane just falling, and I knew it was not just normal turbulence because the masks came down.